Welcome to the John and Heidi Show podcast.
John and Heidi.
Here's John and Heidi.
Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show this weekend. Hey, baby, how you doing?
I'm okay. How are you?
I'm okay as well. Coming up, I'm going to be better than okay because we've got a great guest coming up later in the program. Going to visit with Diane. Let's see, who do I have here? Danielle Reutter, that's who it is. Prosperity Plan. Going to visit with a young lady that kind of came up with a plan on how to, if you're trying to make more money, apparently. So
Okay.
I think that's what it is. Prosperity Plan. You ready for some quotes today?
Sure thing.
All right. Since it's the weekend, we do both Saturday and Sunday quotes. So the Saturday quote is, whoever said the pen is mightier than the sword obviously never encountered automatic weapons.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Douglas MacArthur said that. And Sunday, May 21st, the quote is, you must not only aim right, but draw the bow with all your might. Henry David Thoreau. So he's saying, you can be right on target, but if you have a wimpy hit, it's like, that all you got? Coming up, we got some special things going on this weekend. We'll tell you all about it in a bit.
John and Heidi.
Today is a special day, Heidi. Do you know what today is?
What is today, John?
Thought you'd never ask. Let's do the whole darn weekend. We'll start with Saturday, May the 20th, Armed Forces Day. Day to Breakers Race Day. I don't know what that means.
I have no clue what that means.
Do-Da Day is today. Elizabeth Doolittle Day, Everybody Draw Mohammed Day, National Learn to Swim Day, Preakness Day, Morel Mushroom Day. Your mother loves those.
Yeah.
Morel mushrooms. Weights and Measures Day. Then we got Sunday is the 21st of May, and that is American Red Cross Founders Day. End of the World or Rapture Day. So hopefully that doesn't happen. But if it does, hopefully you're ready. I Need a Patch for That Day. National Waitstaff Day, Neighbor Day, Sister Maria Hummel Day, Soil Stewardship Day, Take Your Parents to the Playground Day, World Day for Cultural Diversity for Dialogue and Development Day. So, wow, there's a lot of stuff going on today. This is a busy weekend, Heidi.
I guess.
So get on out there and celebrate. Take Your Parents to the Playground Day is the one we should celebrate.
Yeah, my dad would love that.
I'll push him on the slide. Or I'll get on the teeter-totter and won't let him down. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
I love watching TV shows and movies, but I hated seeing my monthly bill get higher and higher. All that money every month just to watch TV. Well, not anymore. We cut our cable. We were paying $185 a month for channels we didn't even watch. Now we pay for just the internet, and we save about $150 a month. And we still get to watch what we want, when we want, with no monthly fee. Learn how you can do this too at channelsurfertv.com. Watch the video there to learn how to watch movies and TV with no monthly fee. Do it today and save 50% at channelsurfertv.com.
John and Heidi.
You know it's true because you heard it on the radio. Now this actually sounds like a joke, but it's not. It's for real. And if you don't believe me, just look online. There are several stories now that talk about this. Are you ready for President Rock or President The Rock? Or how would you say that? Dwayne The Rock Johnson?
President Johnson.
President Johnson? Oh, is that what you'd call him? We've already had two President Johnsons, though. Do you think America would be ready for a pro wrestler president?
I would vote for The Rock. He's a very sensible guy, I like him.
I don't know about all of his political views, so I really can't say that I'm for or against, but I'll read the story to you, and then we'll have this little discussion. It says, so do you think America's ready for President Rock? In a new profile from Dwayne Johnson in GQ magazine, the wrestler turned movie star talks about his possible future in politics. And it all started with an opinion piece in the Washington Post last year that stated Johnson could be an actual presidential candidate someday. At the time, Johnson called the idea, quote, fun to read, end quote. But now he says, I've been giving this some serious thought. He says, I think that it's a real possibility. So here's the funny thing. If you would have talked to somebody before about like 1978 and said Ronald Reagan's going to run for president, they're like the actor. So that's the funny part of Back to the Future. When they go back to 1955, that's an actual line from the movie. He said, who was the president of the United States in 1985? And he said, Ronald Reagan. And he laughs. He goes, ha, the actor? So, they thought that was ridiculous. But now most people think of Ronald Reagan as a president more so than ever even thinking of him as an actor.
He was one of our greatest presidents.
And right now, we've got a president who, if you would have said even a year and a half ago, when they were, all the political experts were talking about, there's no chance that Trump is going to win. No chance. Here he is president. So we're laughing about this right now, that Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson is considering a run for president. Who knows? Maybe someday they'll look back at this line or this little conversation and say, what a couple of idiots.
In the movie Idiocracy, wasn't the president a former wrestler?
Yes, he was. As a matter of fact, he was. And if you've never seen that movie, that's where we're headed. You can check it out. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
Each day at this time, we talk about people doing dumb things under the influence, but addiction is no laughing matter. If you or someone you know needs help, there's a toll-free number you can call.
1-800-438-0380.
That's the Addiction Hope and Helpline.
1-800-438-0380.
And this is your Brain on Drugs. Police in Madison, Wisconsin arrested an attorney, Rick Petrie, after he went to pick up a client who had been charged with drunk driving. Now, let me explain what happened. Petrie was also drinking.
Oh, wow.
He had drinks earlier in the evening and thought that he had slept it off. Petrie once prosecuted drunk drivers, and he says, I really should have known better. He says he was wrong, and he's humbled by the experience. Both Petrie and the client were cited for their first offense. So he had...
Is it normal for attorneys to go and pick up drunk driving?
It could. Maybe he's just a friend of the guy. So he's like, hey, can I call my attorney? And he's my friend. And I don't know. Maybe it is.
Huh.
I've never needed an attorney, so... I failed a breathalyzer test once, though. That was terrible. The way that I failed it was kind of a pretty spectacular because I had no clue how to do it. So the guy hands me this thing and says, here, you're going to need to blow. And I'm holding it like 5 inches from my face, and I just blow on it. And the guy starts laughing. He's like, you've never done this before, have you? I'm like, I have no clue what I'm doing. So I failed it because I didn't know how to blow in the breathalyzer. But when I blew on it, it was all zeros. I'm like, I haven't been drinking. I just don't know how to use your fancy equipment. That's all. Anyway, we have your moment of duh on the way.
John and Heidi.
Now your moment of duh. 2 men were attempting to rob a Winnipeg restaurant, and they were forced to retreat when they were attacked by the patrons. I actually mentioned this earlier, and I completely forgot to read the story. We talked about this, days ago. Police said a robbery went awry when one of the thieves got into a scuffle with, are you ready for this? A 74-year-old waiter.
Oh, yeah, you did start to talk about this.
That's when customers jumped in, and everybody did what they could, including a man who took a fishbowl and smashed it over the head of one of the crooks. Robbers left with no cash. They did get away, though. The cops didn't catch them. They're like, what did they look like? They're like, well, they looked wet when we were done with them. I busted a fishbowl on his head. Kind of makes you wonder, what in the heck was going on? A 74-year-old...
Messing with a 74-year-old waiter. Come on.
Well, there's some people out there that don't work for a living, Heidi, so they got to dream up ways to steal money from other people. So that is a bad thing to do. You should just go get a job. I mean, seriously, come on. Coming up here in a bit, we've got your scoop of the day. That is on the way.
John and Heidi.
Would you like custom t-shirts for an event or sports team? We understand that usually the budget's not unlimited. We have full-color custom printed t-shirts for just $7 each. That's one of the best prices you'll find anywhere. No minimum orders, so you can print just one or print 1,000. The price is just $7 per shirt with a minimal setup fee per design. Make the memories of your next event last forever or help your team look amazing with a little help from CustomShirtInc.com. That's CustomShirtInc.com.
Now your scoop of the day. On a highway between Lafayette and Kokomo, Indiana, there's an actual sign outside of a house, and I believe this is a real business, and if you know that it's not, let me know so I quit saying that I think it is. But there is a sign that simply reads, Bob's Dog Obedience School and Taxidermy Shop. Talk about motivation for those dogs.
Yeah.
You going to be good? Or are you going to be like...
Are you going to be a taxidermied little puppy?
You get your choice. I bet he gets some really good results. Australia's power company is urging people to stop singing in the shower. They say while they're in the shower singing, they take longer showers, wasting water and wasting the power they use to heat the water. So the power company is asking people to please refrain from singing in the shower. Steve Harvey. I've always liked Steve Harvey.
Yeah.
This next story really bothers me. This came out this week, and it says Steve Harvey does not want any of his underlings talking to him.
Oh, yeah. I actually read the letter that he sent out to his staff.
So this is for real?
It is for real. Yeah.
Longtime talk show hosts circulated a memo saying, I don't want you to come to my dressing room unless you're invited, which that makes sense to me. You don't just
all
walk
of it
in.
really makes sense. I mean, he's
and please
so busy.
Don't approach me while I'm in the makeup chair unless I ask to speak with you directly. So I can understand where he's coming from.
He's trying to get ready for a show.
Well, but just the way this story comes across makes him sound like a bad guy, and that's too bad because I've always really liked him. So, Steve Harvey, I hope you're not a bad guy because I've always liked you. Come on. Cuba just recently opened their very first luxury mall. Think about the changes that have happened in that country in just the last couple of years.
Yeah.
I mean, it's amazing. After decades of debate, it seems we may finally have a definitive winner on the over versus under toilet paper debate. Remember we had this debate?
Over.
Heidi has said for years over. I've always said under. Well, some dude by the name of Oliver Williams, he's a writer, and he was like, we're going to get to the bottom of this. And he did some searching, and Seth Wheeler is the guy that invented the toilet paper holder in 1891. And Seth Wheeler shows conclusively that the design has, in the image that was submitted to the patent office, has it in the over position. So you over people were the winners.
That's right.
My wife won anyway. I tried to do the under, and she kept doing the over. And then I would switch it to
I will
under.
switch it back. If I'm at other people's houses and it's on wrong, I will switch it.
That's going out of the way.
I do. It drives me crazy.
Here's the thing lately in our house, people don't even put it on the holder. They just sit it there. If it's in the same room, they're okay with it. I'm like, would you guys quit it? It seems like I'm the only one that knows how to change it lately.
Please.
Just saying. Hey, a gene, I think we've talked about this before, but they've got more evidence now. A gene linked to sticky earwax and excessive underarm odor may indicate a higher risk of cancer. So the fact that you stink and you can't hear very well isn't bad enough. You might have cancer coming down the road, too. The study may give doctors another tool for predicting cancer, though. Researchers arrived at their conclusion by tracking a protein created by a gene which is associated with cancer. The earwax and the odor problem may become a life-saving clue to early detection and treatment of cancer. So saying, if you have a lot of sticky earwax and you have underarm odor, you may want to get checked for cancer a little more often than those who don't. Dieters who, this is one of those, did we really have to do a study for this? Dieters who weigh themselves at least once a week lose more weight than those who don't. Really? Seriously?
We've talked about this before, too.
If you keep track of how much you weigh, you don't tend to gain as much weight, or you might even lose more weight. Well, of course you do. I mean, if you're not paying attention, that's when things get out of control. Trust me. I've been there. I've done that. Actually, just lost. We'll talk about it off the air. We're not going to go into that right here. But my wife and I are both working on a diet, and I'm down a few pounds. So it's good stuff. And a poll has found that up to 3/4 of councils in Britain are planning to turn off the street lamps or dim the lights at night in an attempt to save money. So the councils that'd be like neighborhoods, cities, areas. They're saying we're going to cut the lights at night. Police fear that these darkened streets will act for a haven for burglars and muggers and vandals. And motoring experts are saying, hey, we're going to have more accidents on the road. So they're saying we're going to just turn off the lights. Now, I could see if they say we're going to turn off the lights at a certain time. You know, we're going to have them on till 2 o'clock, and then from 2 until, 5 a.m., we're going to turn them off. Turn them off for a few hours. I could see that. But to turn them off completely, we lived in a neighborhood that had some street lights out for a while. It was kind of scary. Because you'd walk outside, you couldn't see anything.
The neighborhood we live in now doesn't have many street lights.
Well, we have one that's up the way. It is kind of dark here, too. So, I don't know. I think street lights are good. Coming up, we've got a special guest, and we'll get some fun facts headed your way in a bit on the John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
80s in the Sand will be happening this November in Punta Cana in the Dominican Republic.
And that'll be here before you know it.
Join us and have a blast with 80s in the Sand.
An all-inclusive vacation with some of the greatest bands of the 80s.
Plus, you can meet some 80s icons from the movies and television as well.
Get all the details at 80sinthesand.com.
Use promo code RADIO to get a $200 immediate refund per person.
That website is 80sinthesand.com.
Book your week-long 80s vacation now at 80sinthesand.com.
John and Heidi.
Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show. Today we got a special guest, Danielle Reutter, and she is an interesting lady to visit with because she does some stuff with faith, and she does some stuff with finances, and some stuff with fitness. So you got the 3 F's covered, don't you, Danielle?
Yes, I do.
And now those 3 things all kind of come together. So there are people that are looking for assistance with their finances and with their faith and with their fitness. And how is it that you got an opportunity to work with people on all 3 of those? How did that come about?
Well, it's been a journey evolving over the past 10 years or so. I began in fitness after I had my own transformation that started way back in 2006 when my husband, we were newly married. He went off to Iraq. He was in the Army at the time, and I wanted to lose weight and get healthy while he was gone, so I hired a personal trainer and a nutritionist. I lost weight. I felt so much better. I knew I had to help other people get healthy and fit. And then it's been a process since then. I was a personal trainer for a number of years, and then after I had my first son, who is 8.5 now, he has a physical disability. We went through a really challenging time after he was born, but during that, God was calling me back to church and a relationship with him, and so then I had this whole falling in love experience with Jesus, and my faith was restored, and I knew I needed to help people, and it was much deeper than just, the lose on. And then after my husband got out of the military, he had a knee injury that got him out in 2015. I really wanted to learn more about finances, and I started actually studying to be a financial advisor, but then it was clear that that particular model wasn't exactly what I was supposed to be doing, but I've always wanted to have this coaching business where I would be able to help women in a more holistic way. And so I've been able to take the knowledge that I received studying to be a financial advisor. I did get a number of licenses, and I ended up connecting with a site that's going to be launched soon called Beauty in the Bowl, and that's all about helping women be smart investors and savers. So I'm able to take all of this and pull it together to really help women love themselves into amazing shape, mind, body, spirit, and financially.
Very cool. And I'm on your website right now, DanielleReutter.com, and I see you've got a blog. So for folks that like reading blogs, that's a good place to go, I suppose.
Yeah, I have a few things up there now. I'm working on getting more up there.
And I'm looking at some of the headlines on here. So it says 10 things every entrepreneur needs to know about financial planning, part 1. So that's good. That's good stuff to know.
Yeah.
And the biblical importance of giving, and This Means War, a paper on spiritual warfare. So a couple of the topics that I see on here. Now, there's also a tab that's called the Prosperity Plan. Now, what is the Prosperity Plan?
The Prosperity Plan, that's actually a freebie. Anybody can go up there and download it. But it really just takes you through a process of looking at your life and identifying where you're prospering, where you're not prospering, and getting things in alignment so that you can make a plan in order to prosper in all areas. And really at the core of it, it's having a healthy relationship with God and yourself, and you'll be able to see what areas of your life need more attention than others, and then you can create that holistic prosperity plan.
Fantastic. Well, that's really cool. And you said that's free, so I'm clicking on here right now, and I see, okay, yes, I want my prosperity plan. So I just fill that out, and you send it to me.
Yep, it'll go automatically to your email box.
Well, there you go. Well, for folks that would like that, again, the website is DanielleReutter.com, and it's REUTTER. So if you're struggling to spell that, I was struggling to say it, so thank you for telling me the right way before we get on the air here. Yep. So you probably hear that a bunch of times. People pronounce it wrong, I suppose.
Yeah.
Well, we appreciate you taking the time to chat with us, and I really appreciate what you're doing. I think it's cool that you're doing this to help make a difference in the lives of others. And it always fascinates me when, somebody goes through a transformation like you have, and then they say, you know what, I want to help other people do that too. I think that's such a wonderful thing.
Thank you. Absolutely. And I think, the reason why we go through the struggles we do in life is so that we can help other people.
Absolutely.
And it's really cool to be where I am now.
Well, thank you again for taking the time to chat with us. For folks that would like to learn more, the website, again, is DanielleReutter.com. And again, our guest today has been Danielle, and she's got the Prosperity Plan right on her website. If you'd like to download that, you can. And there's also a blog that you can click on from the website. And once again, that is DanielleReutter.com. Thanks for listening to The John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
Would you like custom t-shirts for an event or sports team? We understand that usually the budget's not unlimited. We have full-color custom printed t-shirts for just $7 each. That's one of the best prices you'll find anywhere. No minimum orders, so you can print just one or print 1,000. The price is just $7 per shirt with a minimal setup fee per design. Make the memories of your next event last forever, or help your team look amazing with a little help from CustomShirtInc.com. That's CustomShirtInc.com.
John and Heidi.
Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
If we're talking about something that is freestone or something that is clingstone, what are we talking about?
I have no idea.
Peaches. Yeah, peaches are freestone or clingstone. I think that has to do with the pit. whether it holds on or falls out.
Okay.
Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
If lovers are said to be star-crossed, their relationship is doomed. That's too bad. Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
Airport security screeners in the United States alone confiscate about 37,000 lighters every day. I wonder if that's a smaller number now.
I don't know.
Because there are fewer and fewer people that are smoking. I'd be shocked to know that there are even 37,000 smokers left.
That there's a light. I would forget there's a lighter because there is a lighter in my purse.
Is it really?
And I would forget.
Yeah. So they confiscate a lot of them. Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
The group known as PETA is against the abuse of animals. So for those of you who thought it stood for people eating tasty animals, you were wrong. Although that's what I saw on a T-shirt once. And our final fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
The term Impressionism was prompted by a painting that came out in 1872, and it was all started, this whole movement, by a dude by the name of Claude Monet. So there you go. One of our favorite comedians has a joke about Monet, but I don't remember how it goes.
Brian Regan.
Yeah. Gonna move on. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
Have you thought of starting a home-based business but didn't like the idea of calling family and friends? This top-quality fitness and health products company lets you take advantage of their advertising power to reach people who wish to add a few hundred or a few $1,000s a week to their income by following a simple system. Plus, everyone who joins the team after you benefits you as well. To learn more about how you can leverage your time to help others get healthy and create wealth from home, call Scott Smith at 866-741-7242. That's 866-741-7242.
Got a couple of stories that go hand in hand here, Heidi. First one is a food pyramid for people under the age of 2. It says, contrary to popular belief, children don't usually outgrow their baby fat, and a recent report urges a bunch of different steps to help prevent babies and toddlers and preschoolers from getting too pudgy too soon. And I guess that's a problem that's been growing and growing in our portly children. Already, 1 in 5 preschoolers aged 2 to 5 years old is overweight or obese. Topping the list of preschool proposed changes, better guidelines to help parents and caregivers know just how much toddlers should eat as they move from baby food to bigger kid food, and making sure preschoolers get at least 15 minutes of physical activity for every hour they spend in childcare. That all makes sense, though. But they're just saying that we've got a lot of kids that are getting a little too pudgy a little too quick, and that baby fat isn't something they have to have.
I think a lot of that has to do with both parents being too busy to cook healthy meals.
See, I still have a lot of my baby fat. I've been working on it for like last 41 years and just can't get it off, this pesky little baby fat. That's what I'm going to blame it on. And another food story here, so I thought I'm going to put these two together. Food allergies affect about 1 in 13 U.S. children, double the last government estimate, according to a new study. The researchers say about 40% of the kids have severe reactions, and finding that they hope will erase misconceptions that food allergies are just like hay fever and other seasonal allergies that are troublesome but not dangerous. They say 8% of the children studied had food allergies to things like peanuts and milk, and those were the two most common sources. That translates to about 6 million U.S. children that are allergic to stuff like that.
That is insane.
I know, and that number keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and I don't quite understand how that's happening, but there you go. I remember when I was a kid, I had a friend that he was not allergic to. He was allergic to fish, I think, is what he was allergic to. I don't know. I think it was fish.
I read an article online the other day about this awesome kid that's had a severe allergy to peanuts, and he was at school, and one of his friends had a Reese's peanut butter cup, and it was just killing him. He was dying to know what a Reese's peanut butter cup tasted like, and he's like, "That's it, I'm doing it." Stabs himself with his EpiPen. Told the teacher to call the ambulance, and he ate the Reese's peanut butter cup.
Don't do that, please. And if you do, you didn't hear it here. That's a terrible idea. All right, coming up, we're going to talk about getting your brain in shape. That's on the way.
John and Heidi.
I love watching TV shows and movies, but I hated seeing my monthly bill get higher and higher. All that money every month just to watch TV. Well, not anymore. We cut our cable. We were paying $185 a month for channels we didn't even watch. Now we pay for just the internet, and we save about $150 a month. And we still get to watch what we want, when we want, with no monthly fee. Learn how you can do this too at ChannelSurferTV.com. Watch the video there to learn how to watch movies and TV with no monthly fee. Do it today and save 50% at ChannelSurferTV.com.
John and Heidi.
Heidi, do you want to make sure your brain is in its best possible shape?
Sure.
Then you're going to want to make sure you have shapely legs. says lace up your running shoes and hit the pavement or the treadmill because you don't have to run, but you need to at least walk at a forceful pace as fast as you can go. And when you do that, when you're young, you'll reap huge benefits as you age by keeping your brain stronger. That's right. Strong legs equal strong brain, according to research from Great Britain. The study found leg strength was far better predictor of brain health than any other lifestyle factor.
Well, I'm
Generally,
in trouble.
Yeah, no. That's why I can't remember where. I'm like, where did I put my keys? You're holding them. Oh, that's really okay. How about my glasses? You're wearing them. Oh, okay. Says here, generally, the twin who had greater leg strength at the start of a study maintained their mental abilities, much better, and had fewer age-related brain changes than the twin with weaker legs. While the research doesn't prove a cause and effect relationship, it appears that simply walking more now to improve your leg force could actually help maintain brain function when you're older. So there you go. I'm going to walk somewhere if I can remember to do it.
I said yesterday like 3 times, let's go for a walk.
I know.
Let's go for a walk.
And I kept having reasons I couldn't do it. Hey, want to go for a walk later?
Yes.
All right. Remind me of that. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
Police in Atlantic City say 2 local residents stuffed toll baskets on the Atlantic City Expressway with some sort of material that was designed to keep the coins from falling down into the hole. And then later they came back to steal all their loot. Sounds like a great plan, right? Because they're throwing it in, as you're driving through, you're throwing money in like a giant funnel, and they just stuffed a little thing in there so all the money was stacking up.
Not a good idea.
Well, here's the problem, folks. Those things are under security. So not only did they watch them stick that stuff in there to stop it and block it, they also watched as the 54-year-old Angela Freeman Poles and her 57-year-old accomplice, Elijah Reeves, came back and tried to get the money, and guess what? They were charged with tampering with the tolls and stealing the money. So,
and rightfully so.
Even your foolproof plan to swindle money from people driving through the tolls in Atlantic City, even that got foiled. I just don't think it's a good idea to try breaking the law. Because I'm telling you, you're going to get caught.
That's
and then
right.
We're going to talk about you here on the air. Just the way it works.
John and Heidi.
It's almost graduation time. If you have a son or daughter finishing high school, you need to hear this. They can go to college without racking up a pile of student loans. Matthew Einstone did. He saved over $70,000 on a top-rate education. Then he built a system to show you how to do it too. Learn how you can use this system for your kids or for yourself. Go to freeeducationuniversity.com. Sign up now and get a free 60-minute private consultation with Matthew. Use promo code RADIO20 to save 20% at freeeducationuniversity.com. That's freeeducationuniversity.com.
John and Heidi.
Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show. A story here from New York. It says 33-year-old Brian Valerie of New York was given 5 years of probation after a judge declared him guilty of posing as a lawyer for 2 years. Yeah. Despite having no law degree whatsoever, Brian worked for Anderson, Kill, and Oilick as a paralegal and then was promoted to staff attorney after claiming that he passed the bar exam. He also... They
didn't ask for any sort
apparently
of proof
not.
on that.
They're very trusting there. And then he claimed, oh, by the way, I'm a graduate from the Fordham University of Law School. Reportedly, Valerie's original sentence is for 15 years in prison for grand larceny. However, Supreme Court Justice Gregory Caro decided to cut it to probation as Valerie returned $150,000 of the money he earned as an employee at the law firm. Ironically, he had an incredible work ethic. He worked about 70 hours a week, and this not real attorney won about 50 court cases as well. So
50 out of how many?
It doesn't say 10,000. No, it doesn't say. Well, he only did this for 2 years. So he was doing this for 2 years, and he wasn't
That
even
is crazy.
He was a paralegal for the beginning of it, which you can be without being a lawyer. But he was promoted to staff attorney when he says, "Oh, hey, what a weekend! I passed my bar exam." They're like, "You did? We got so much work. How about we start having you do it?" We didn't think to ask for that diploma. He didn't go to school to be an attorney. Here's the one thing I would say: imagine if you were one of the cases he didn't win. Do you get another trial?
Oh,
I'll bet you do. My attorney was not an attorney. I want a new trial.
Yeah.
I'll bet they do. So it doesn't say how many he lost, but 50 that he won, they probably won't ask for new attorneys, a new trial.
Here's the thing.
And if you were the attorney on the other side and you got beat by this non-attorney, you probably wouldn't ask for a new trial either. You're like, yeah, let's just forget that I
If you're
lost to this
able
guy.
to do it.
Yeah, he should have gone to school to be an attorney.
Well, that's just it, though. he clearly didn't need the education to be able to do it. He was doing it just fine.
He was probably just a big fan of Matlock. All right, coming up, we got some good news. That is on the way.
John and Heidi.
This portion of the John and Heidi Show is brought to you by the John and Heidi Show. That sounds kind of funny, but it's true. Go to your local radio station and ask them to start carrying the John and Heidi Show. Here's the best part. They can carry the show for free. They play a couple commercials, but it doesn't cost them anything every month. So if you know a radio station that could use a little bit of help, send them our way. Send them to johnandheidishow.com. Again, johnandheidishow.com. We would love to do a radio program in your community. Then you could listen to the podcast and listen to us on the radio.
John and Heidi.
Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show this weekend. We always try to wrap up this show with some positive news. I think this is positive news. This is just a neat, heartwarming, touching story, Heidi. A boy who sent 3,500 comic books to soldiers is rewarded with Best Day Ever. Says he arrived at the base to deliver some of the comic books, and Carl was greeted with a hero's welcome. Several of the high-ranking officers were waiting in line to give him a VIP tour of the base. Carl was allowed to try on some military gear and explore the inside of an airplane and a helicopter. Then the officers awarded him 3 different medals of excellence in recognition for his kindness. How cool is that?
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, this little guy, he's a comic book fan, and he thought, I bet there's some of these soldiers that would probably like these. So he started this little comic book drive and ended up collecting 3,500 comic books to send to soldiers, and he got rewarded with his special day. I think that's really cool. I remember our daughter, when she was probably, 7 years old?
Yeah.
There was if you guys remember these, they were doing honor flights, and hopefully you remember those because it was such a cool thing. It was sending veterans from World War II out to see the World War II Memorial in Washington, D.C.
They still do them.
But I'm saying this is when they were like really big, when they were really, because I think most of the people have made it, but if there are still some going on, that's awesome too. But back in the heyday, when that was like really a new thing and it was going, our daughter set up a lemonade stand and she was raising money for honor flights. And it was
she had a giant billboard next to her.
She's gigantic sign. It was spelled wrong. She was raising money for the V trains. I just thought it was adorable. I think that probably helped her sales, honestly.
Probably.
She's rolling in the dough out there. So what you doing? Oh, it's for the honor flight. So you're raising money for the who? Well, for the veterans, and it's the V trains. All right. Time to say goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, everybody. Have a great weekend. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show.